guys, before it gets too crazy here.
Okay.
Yeah, well, here with us is Maria, all the way from Luxembourg, and she is a starseed, and she's going to tell us about her life growing up. And yeah, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you grew up?
Yeah, thanks guys for having me here with you. I will begin. I mean, my childhood actually wasn't that remarkable in sense of like, I didn't grow up knowing I'm a starseed. It actually came much later in my life, this awareness. But from my childhood, yeah, I kind of knew a little bit that I was a bit different than everyone else, and I had like my certain views on the world, and quite often, like even my best friends would tell me, like, you're like from a different time or a different planet. Like they were saying that jokingly, like for a lot of times, like for various reasons. But of course, I didn't really pay attention to that much back in time. And yeah, but I just felt like I don't really belong and I cannot really fit in where other people are fitting in very easily, And yeah, it kind of started for me. My starseed journey started when I actually was already 36. It was only 2 years ago.
Okay.
Before that, I would say my awakening journey started before starseed. I kind of separate them because for me, awakening was the first part, and then the starseed awakening was kind of the second unfolding of the whole, the depth of who I was. And the awakening started with actually my mom getting sick with cancer. And that's when I kind of came to the realization about many things about life. Well, primarily, first of all, is how do we get sick? How do we get sicknesses in our bodies, and how actually we don't have just physical body, but many bodies. Well, 5 at least for me personally right now. Maybe there is more, but my awareness is at least extends to 5. And yeah, and I started like investigating all those relationships within those bodies, and I guess that's when it all started for me. And I also understood like that my mom got cancer because logically she shouldn't have. Logically she never was exposed to anything dangerous, or she never smoked because she had lung cancer. And she was asking me when she got this diagnosis, she was asking me, I don't know if she was asking my sister or my dad as well, but she was asking me for sure, how did I deserve that? Why did I get that? She was so fixed on it, and it kept coming. So I started investigating. And yeah, the awareness came that because my mom never lived her life the way she wanted, and she kept swallowing a lot of different things. She kept keeping like grudges in her heart, or like burying her desires to really do what she wanted, and like sacrificing herself for us, for me, my sister, for family. And all of that, eventually this emotional like load and all these burdens and stuff, they created this sickness within her. So yeah, that was the beginning of my journey. After everything like that happened with her, that's when I restarted my own life. Because before that, I was working in a corporate job, which I hated. Life was pretty boring and regular and normal. Like I didn't have any, well, I did have some extraordinary experiences, but because I was too afraid to experience them, I blocked them as well. So for a long time, I didn't experience anything extraordinary or like extrasensory, whatever you want to call that. But after that, like after my mom's situation happened and then she passed away, actually, I changed completely my path. And I moved first into coaching space, like I became a coach. But even that was just not yet my path. But it was like a transition towards the real path. And that transition lasted more or less like 3 years. I'm losing count a bit, guys. So let's say 3 years or 4 years. And then, like, of course, I did a lot of healing for myself, a lot of self-discovery, a lot of like digging within myself to understand who I am and what I want in life, and to understand my belief systems and all these kind of things. So a lot of inner work happened. Well, I was also, of course, working with other people, and it's quite funny when you work with some people, when they are very aligned with who you are, they reveal to you what you need to heal about yourself. So over the years that I was helping others, I was like making mental notes. That touched a chord. Like I need to look into that stuff. So that's how it was going. And then 2 years ago, I think I heard about the term of starseeds maybe 3 years ago, or maybe 4, but it didn't do anything. Like, I don't even know who told me something about starseed. It wasn't even in relation to me in any way, but somebody just brought up the term starseed, and I just looked into it, read about it, and forgot about it. Like, okay, that's it, just a fairy tale. And then I had a client who came and she talked about ayahuasca, that she was going to do ayahuasca actually ceremony, and she was just, I also wasn't aware of that either before that person, and again, it was just like a mental note to myself. Somehow it like clicked a little bit, something within me, like it didn't like just pass through me as a noise, but something stayed within, and I kind of took a mental note of this ayahuasca stuff. And I guess a year later, after I worked with that person, one day I just woke up and I felt the pull to book for myself the ayahuasca retreat. Like, I just felt like, oh my God, I have to do it. So in one day I found everything, I booked everything, I paid, and I was like ready to go. Yeah, it was pretty like amazing pull within me. I mean, I also broke my boyfriend. I told him, if you don't want to go, it's okay, I will go anyway. Yeah. But he was like, oh, no, I will go with you, it's fine for me. So we actually went together. Cool. And I went there with 2 main questions. Like, one of them was really understand who I am, really know who I am. And the second one was where to steer my business, because I was feeling like it's not exactly the thing. Like, it was okay, but it wasn't really inspiring for me already at that point. Like, I was feeling, no, there's no juice, like it's not fun, what else? So I went there with these 2 questions. And so it was like a retreat where we were supposed to have 2 ayahuasca ceremonies and 1 San Pedro, which is like another medicine from another plant, like a cacti. And so basically in the first ayahuasca, I needed some healing still. So there were some like very deep things that were revealed. But in the second day, like in the second ceremony, the knowing of who I am came. And I was literally said out loud, like, you are an onyx, you're a druid from Star Onyx, you're a star child, you're here to gather other star seeds and tell them that they're not crazy and they're not inventing any of that, and it's all real, and you're here to help them, thrive on Earth, basically, navigate their journey. It wasn't said thrive, but like navigate their journey on Earth. Yeah, and like a lot of information started pouring in, and the funny thing is that none of that felt unnatural. Like, when I came out of the ceremony, it felt like, yeah, I've always known that. How the heck did I not realize that? And when I was sharing that experience, because of course we had like a group sharing and everything, and after the ceremony, and I was sharing that experience, and I was talking about things like about my planet and about the things that we used to do and like our lifestyle and how we looked like and all of that. And I remember my boyfriend was like looking at me a bit like, I guess, in bewilderment, but telling to me, the crazy part is that you're talking about it as if you have always talked about it and not just found it out like an hour ago. So that was like, yeah. And I looked at him and I said, well, because I've always known, I just forgot. And that's it. It's just a remembrance that comes back. And that was just the first step, basically, because afterwards, like once I came back from the ceremony, I mean, of course, if you have never done ayahuasca, but if you do, you will not really understand. But if you do, you kind of know how it expands you. Like, you're a bit like floaty and very light for quite some time. So when I came back after that, I decided that I will start healing myself, but in a different way. I will start addressing things that are pending like for years with me. And I'm done with them. I want to deal with them. And some of them were physical, some of them were kind of emotional, but because it's all connected, you kind of do the work on different layers of your body anyway. So, and like I started with healing, like the whole process. I came back, I didn't do any work with anyone because like I didn't know what's next, like, okay, now I know that, and my previous business definitely doesn't fit, what I was doing before, because it was about like career change and stuff. Although it was kind of still part of it, but a very minuscule part and not very precise anymore. So I spent some time, of course, healing and again, trying to understand certain things for myself and what's next and what not, whatever. And then eventually it came to my awareness, like I think it took me several months, but a very powerful way of healing came to my awareness. Like it was downloaded, and it was a system that I created that I called quantum healing, that I use now all the time with people. Like that's one of those. And through like the more I was doing the work and my meditations, they transformed entirely. Like after that experience, like after healing I was doing, my meditations really transformed. They could last like 1 hour, sometimes 1 hour and a half, and I was doing something really deep, and I was going away to different places. And the more and more I was doing that, the more I was remembering actually. So other starseed, energies came through. Like with time, I understood that I also have Lyran energies within me, and also Arcturian are very, very present. Probably like a second strongest one is Arcturian. Like the first one is Onyx. That's where I use the most of my gifts. Like because from there I bring the gifts of healing with elements. Like I use the elements of nature, 5 elements of nature to heal, to bring people on the healing journey. And my voice, like it was revealed to me that my voice contains a frequency that can expand people, that can bring them to other dimensions, that can heal them, and that I have to use my voice. In which way, up to me to decide. So yeah, and I mean, eventually like more of the memories came through, and I remembered I've lived in Pleiades, but not like a Pleiadian, but I think like a Lyran. I definitely visited Pleiadians as an Onyx, although Onyx was in a different universe, which means we had like interdimensional travel and interuniversal travel available to our race, like, these kind of things. So yeah, that was how I came to that,
Wow.
like into all of that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is awesome, especially the ayahuasca shift that like opened your mind, and then the fact that you just got it instantly and remembered, and having your boyfriend, especially when you came out of it, having all this knowledge, and he's just like, how did you just know that? Right? It's like,
yeah, I was the only
that
one.
is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty cool because everybody came out of it like totally jumbled,
Wow.
like they were relaying what they experienced, but they couldn't put it together, like,
Sure.
well, for me, it was like, I just opened the door to something else, and like, it's all there, like, I know it all. And
And
it
how
was
long did
pretty
how,
mind-blowing in that sense.
how long did the ayahuasca trip last? Was it hours, 4 hours?
Yeah, it was maybe 5 hours, I'd say,
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
something like that.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
but you don't feel it like that. The second it sucks you in, actually, you don't
Oh,
feel it
yeah, shit. I'm all about the psychedelics. So, and I think they're very in the health benefits with, stress and anxiety and depression, like microdosing with mushrooms or that. I think these are keys to open up the minds of things that we've forgotten about, or like, again, something opened the door for you, you know.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
mean, the key thing was that when I was in ayahuasca itself, of course, you don't talk to ayahuasca. Although I always say ayahuasca told me this, ayahuasca told me that, but ayahuasca eventually told me, it's not ayahuasca talking to you, it's you, it's your true self. So, and at some point, like I heard the words, you've done the work, you've done so much work, you've built the foundation. That's why you have access to all this information right now. And that's also why many people don't, because they just jump into it like, oh, I want to go into ayahuasca, but they have never done any prior inner work for themselves. So, and it can be a pretty tough journey. Like I know that there are people who did it with me. They felt that they were dragged through that journey. Like they felt really, it was powerful. Like it's always powerful, but it can be powerful in a beautiful way, or it can be powerful in a way that it smacks you down and like, you have to deal with certain things now.
These are demons. Yeah.
Yeah. We did have one person who experienced it exactly like that. Not demons, but
Oh, wow.
it was something really, really
Something bad.
Something really painful. I don't remember now the story, and it's not up to me to share that anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, some of them really went through hell, I would say. Well, for me, because I came into it with the awareness that pain is necessary right now, like I can open myself up to feel pain, and I accept that, and it's okay because it will free me. I didn't resist anything at all, and that's why it wasn't as painful as it was for some people.
Sure.
And that's why she was telling me, oh, you've done so much work, like you're so ready, and that's why it's going more or less smoothly for you, And that was like a very important message, I think, because I also realized that many people think that there are shortcuts, in what we can do. And I believe psychedelics, they are very good openers of your consciousness, and like they can provide amazing experiences. But if you're not ready, or like you don't understand what you're doing, it can be very dangerous as well.
Sure.
Or if you're scared while taking it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, your vibration determines where you're going to go in your journeys. It's the same. Like right now, I can travel, maybe not as powerfully as with ayahuasca, but I still can travel a lot with my own mind to different places. And if I'm afraid, I know I will go into a bad place, but I'm never afraid anymore. Like I know that this is the ground foundational work, that you need to put the fear aside. Also know that you're always protected. Know that you're the light, like you have the divine light within you. You're part of the divine, so nothing bad can happen to you actually, unless you allow it. And many people don't understand that,
Well, talking about traveling, let's talk about astral projection or astral traveling for a second. You're into that too, right?
Well, I don't call it astral travel because from what I read, how people experience it, it's not what I experience. So there's something else that I'm doing, but I wouldn't call it astral projection or anything.
Sure.
I just kind of transport myself somewhere where I am. And it's not always visible. Like I don't always see, but I know. It's like for me, how my senses work is that I get a knowing, and I guess from that knowing, my mind builds images. It's just my guess, because I very rarely like land somewhere and I can see something right away. But mostly I am just there and I feel the vibration, and from that vibration I know something. And from that knowing, again, some like clarity, kind of, maybe like a fog that starts lifting or something like that. Yeah, but because I took a course in astral travel, the way they do it, I cannot do it.
Okay.
And like that way, I didn't do it. I mean, I couldn't use those techniques, like they teach you in how to also like something with your sleep, and that you're rolling out and whatever.
Yeah.
You roll yourself out of your body. No matter how many times I try to do it that way, it just doesn't go for me. And I had a mentor which actually told me, that is true. She told me, why are you fixed on the way how people do it? You have your own way of doing it. You don't need to know any others. Just trust that you know, and wherever you're going, it's where you need to go. And how you go there, it doesn't matter. And I dropped it, like I didn't ask that anymore.
Yeah, maybe there is no blueprint.
Well, I mean, maybe there is one that works for a lot of people, but that's not the one I'm using, and that's it.
Before we started recording, Dustin and I, we were just talking about how we never met a male starseed. Why is that? Why is it always girls? Can you tell us?
I don't know. I've met some. I actually know some.
Okay, cool. Maybe you should interview some of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
personally haven't met any.
Yeah, I just wanted to say in my world it's kind of a mix, but to answer your question, why is it probably more females than male? My personal guess into that, or my personal opinion, is that women are more prone to do the inner work than men.
Okay.
And dive into the spiritual world more often than men, or like more eagerly. Although a lot of men do that too. But I would say in terms of percentage, just more women. That's it. And that's why.
Well, it makes sense too, because I think the Nazis did the same thing. They were getting psychic medium women with long hair. I guess the long hair they have is kind of like their antenna to reach to the different realms and vibrations and stuff like that. But no, you're right. A lot of the mediums that you see, even mediums too, you don't meet too many guy mediums out there. Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, I also believe that women are still naturally more intuitive and men are more logical. And that's why, like, although we have, both of us have the same abilities, like intuitive abilities and everything, but men are more tuned into the logical mind, like everything has to be logical and rational, while women are more open to be more irrational, more like trusting our senses, trusting our intuition, right? And we are often accused for that, for being too emotional, for being too, like, not making any sense, and
Depends on the situation, girls. I have to say that depends on the situation. It's not always we're not always wrong.
But it happens in the world. Let's say, I mean, have you seen a
Yeah.
man being accused of being too sensitive or too emotional or too spiritual? I don't know.
Not too often.
Yeah. So let's not say, no, let's not talk in absolutes, but yeah, just
Yes.
Sure,
probabilities.
You're right. You're right. I've seen another video of yours, not completely, but I've seen it's a short video, and you call it "If You Feel That You're Trapped and Earth is a Prison, This video is for you." Please let's talk about that for a second. How can you feel trapped on Earth?
Well, a lot of people do. I mean, because I spent a lot of time in spiritual communities, a lot of people talk about the fact that Earth is a prison and our soul is trapped here and we are bound to reincarnate over and over and over. We don't have a choice and all kind of this kind of conversation, you know? And that's why I was kind of invited by my soul to do that video for people. I mean, of course, I consulted with my higher self. I do a lot of consultations with my higher self, usually, like, you know, to ask things, to have some answers, to have some clarity, at least to define where I'm standing, you know, about certain subjects. And yeah, it's just this quite, I would say, destructive belief that we are prisoners of something, which I do not believe. You know, it might be true. Who knows, right? Like, again, there's no absolute truth in the universe. There's just personal truth. And my personal truth from my higher self was that because soul is part of source, it's a fractal of source. How can you capture source? It's impossible. And that's, sorry, that's why your soul cannot be trapped anywhere. You, like, there is, and again, you know, like through my work, I moved from the understanding of, you know, like past lives and reincarnation and stuff. I mean, I know that we are reincarnating, but it's not about karma for me personally, because people say that you get trapped because you have karma that you accumulated, and like, unless you deal with your karma, you will always be coming back. I don't see it that way at all. For me, like, you're experiencing all of your lives at the same time, like simultaneously on a soul level. And what you feel, what people call karma, it's simply something that your other incarnation experiences right now. And you feel it because you're connected through your soul with that incarnation, even though in that other life that you live here and now, you have your higher self, you know? So basically, the soul planted itself like in different lives, which are, and every single life that you lead, you are guided by your higher self, right? But the soul kind of is like an umbrella that encompasses it all, right? And that's why when something is happening in another life, we can feel it. We can feel the energetic connection to that life, and that's what people call karma in a sense, right? For me personally, that's how I see it. And when it comes to being trapped, no, I haven't seen it that way. Like when I travel and when I do certain things, I've just simply seen that we can choose to come back because we feel we need. Like we can choose to come back to another life because we feel that, okay, I want to learn another lesson or something, you know, like, but it's always a choice. It's never somebody tricked you or sold you a lie. Or like, for example, in a Starseed community, oh my God, people talk about that so much that we've been trapped into, no, not trapped, tricked into coming to Earth, and now we cannot leave. No, who tricked you? Like, that's my question in the first place. Who tricked you?
Right.
Like, you were not sold a lie. You were sold probably a story like that. There is Earth, the planet who is sinking, you know, and cannot rise, and from 3D where they're stuck, and they need your help. Nobody said it will be easy. They said it would be, you know, challenging adventure, but at the same time, the word adventure was there. It means it can be fun. It's up to you to make out of it what you want, right? Yes. But for me, the trap, we create it in our own mind by our beliefs. Mm-hmm. The soul is free. The mind can be trapped easily. And if you start believing certain things, like you kind of trap yourself in the drama of the world, you know, in the things like that are happening that are really devastating in the world, and you think about it all the time, and you send your energy there, you know, like, and you spend time thinking about it rather than focusing on what you actually want to create in the world around you and how you want to live your life. Yeah, you will be trapped in the cycles of negativity, and that's the only trap for me personally that exists.
Your mind can be trapped, that's true, but you can untrap your mind also. That's my opinion. You're sometimes you're a prisoner of your own limitations and expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm kind of saying, that you hold the key anyway.
Right.
You are trapped right now, but you hold the key. The only thing you need to do is change your perspective, like open your mind a little bit to different perspective and maybe sense into them, right? Because the mind doesn't sense, your soul senses the truth.
Yeah.
So, and that's all you need to do, like see other perspectives and allow yourself to feel, how does it feel for me? Does it feel true, right? And that's it. That's how you kind of get unstuck right away, because your soul will show you what is actually true. And yeah, that's it.
Sometimes it's hard for people to get out of this crazy circle of,
Right.
like I said, their own limitations and expectations. How
Mhm.
can we deal with that, with our limitations and expectations?
Well, for me, it all starts with awareness. You know, you need to become aware of how your mind is talking to you. You know, for me, it started when I started meditating years ago. Years ago, I couldn't even sit 5 minutes in stillness and listening to myself. I was so in a rush. You know, I was rushing all the time. So it starts, I guess, first, even before awareness, is it starts with being still, giving yourself time to be still, because that's when you will start slowly connecting with yourself and actually hearing that there are always two voices within you. Like one is the mind, it's very frantic and it's very, like, you know, drama infused. There are always problems. But there's another one which is calm and wise and kind of cheers you up, and you know, it's always there. It's just because of the life most people lead, it's like, you know, running all the time and trying to get something. They don't take the time to sit and listen. But that opens the door. Like once you start understanding that, okay, there's a voice in me that always tells me that everything is going to hell and nothing is working out, and no matter what I do, nothing is going to get any better. If you listen to that voice, you will keep being trapped, right, and stuck in your limitations. But if you sit down and listen, okay, there is this voice, but there's another one which says, but it's not really true, and it offers you like solutions actually, or it soothes you, you know, like it doesn't always offer solutions, but it just tells you the truth. Like it tells you different things that you already know about yourself, but this other voice doesn't let you believe, right? So if you start listening to this other voice a bit more often, it will get louder, you know, and the voice of the mind will get a little bit less loud with time. And then, you know, you can decide at some point, I don't need to listen to that voice ever. And in a sense that, not that you don't listen to it, that's not true actually. You listen to it to see where the growth is needed, because it will show you where the limitations are.
Yes.
It will be kind of your guide to growth and healing, right, this voice. But then to actually do the healing and growth, you go and listen to the other voice, because it will tell you what to do. And that's how.
When you started to dig deeper into the topic of starseeds, was there any books that helped you? Do you have some book recommendations for people who are also interested?
No, I haven't read anything. Absolutely. No. I kind of wanted at some point, and I ordered a book. I have it. It's the only one.
Bring it.
What's the name? I'm just trying to see where it is, if it's here. Let me check. Yes, here. That I bought it like 2 months ago.
Oh, cool. Wow, I like the reflection on it.
It's to a Starseed, but I guess I bought it too late.
Looks familiar. Don't you know?
Yeah, it's from Rebecca Campbell.
That rings a bell.
Yeah, probably, because she's quite known about that book. But I mean, I guess I bought it late because I read it and I was like, I didn't learn anything new. I knew already all of that. So probably I should have read it like when it all happened. But to be honest, you know, when you come to the realization of who you are, you don't feel the need anymore, you know, to read some books or I don't know. It just switched off. I don't know how many books I wanted to read and how many I read, like, you know, because I had like a huge list of books that I accumulated over time that I wanted to read and I needed to read. And eventually, when I discovered who I was, the need disappeared. And the same with like, you know, I don't know if you know that, like there is this platform called Mind Valley. Familiar with that one? Mind Valley? Well, it's basically a spiritual platform where there are different spiritual teachers, and they offer you their programs. Like, and if you get a subscription, you can get all access to all the programs like for a year, and you can choose, and pick whatever you want to do. And that was very helpful to me until I discovered who I was. Like, I did a lot of programs from there. Actually, from there I learned about energy, like about like energy healing and I think chakras. That was my first dive in, but before I knew who I was, it was like some time ago. So that was quite enlightening for me and useful, although it was quite basic information anyway. But like since last year, I bought again the membership, but I didn't do anything. Like I didn't open a single thing because like your mind switches from consuming information to actually creating. I spend my time a lot creating something. I don't have time to go and watch videos, and that's why, sometimes people send me something to watch, and I'm like so notoriously bad of not watching anything because I'm busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Interesting. So before we have to come to an end today, please let people know where they can find you and tell us about your YouTube channel maybe for a minute.
Well, my YouTube channel is not my main focus, to be honest. It hasn't been. I'm mainly on Facebook, but you can find me on YouTube, of course, because I am creating videos, but I'm more of a writer. I like writing a bit more than speaking.
Oh.
But I do share from time to time some videos on my channel. So on my channel, you can find some meditations that I put out, but also some like educational videos, or like, a little bit of light language that I also use, like incantations that come to me. I don't speak light language as a lot of people do. For me, it comes as incantations and spells that I either have to sing or like chant a little bit, or just speak. But they're very short, like they're small things. So I started putting that out a little bit for people. So that's what you can find on my channel. But mostly it's like whatever comes to my mind about what can be helpful to beginner starseeds, but also to people who want to heal themselves. So it kind of a mix, healing and starseed, although my focus now more is on starseeds. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I also have a Facebook group specifically for starseeds, where I share a lot of different things, reflections, like, whatever people need, like whatever I feel is necessary, whatever is important to know on our journey. Because yeah, right now my work is really, I focus on gathering starseeds in the first place, but also empowering them, because I feel it's a very important time right now. Like more light is needed. More light is like, we carry light already, like starseeds, we carry it within. And even if we don't do like what we're supposed to be doing, we still make an impact. But for me, it's so much more wonderful when we kind of light up, and this lightness comes in full force, and we start really doing that why we came here to do, and we start knowing who we are, owning what we are here to do and owning our gifts. And it's an amazing transformation, and it changes your life on Earth. Because for many starseeds, we have common issues, like never feeling understood, never feeling like we belong here, wanting to go home and not knowing where home is.
Story of my life.
Yeah, so maybe you are one of us, like this awareness might come at some point, but there are a lot of things like struggle with money, because we don't really relate to money, because we don't have money where we are from, so our relationship to money is like quite weird. It becomes apparent more when we become, I would say, entrepreneurs rather than when we have a job. But like I know when I had a job, I just didn't care about money. Let's say my focus wasn't on money at all. Okay, I was having a salary, that's fine, But once you become entrepreneur, like money becomes something else, because you understand that you can use it to amplify your impact, and it's not limited anymore by like a salary that you receive. It's something that you can reinvest in the business to reach more people, to like expand your work, like what you're doing to help more. And yeah, it's a different thing. So you start changing your relationship with it. But initially, a lot of us have quite a weird relationship with money. So there are different things like that come into play why we struggle so much on Earth.
Sure.
And that's what I'm really feeling passionate right now about, and that's what my work is about right now. So there is one event upcoming actually that will be in the end of July. So it's still 1 month ahead, in the future. It starts on the 28th of July, but it's specifically for Starseed. It's like a week-long event, which I called Starseed Activation Week. And we're actually talking exactly about that. Like, why do we struggle, and how do we begin to thrive? Like, what kind of shifts are necessary for that to happen? Because, well, it's not an impossible task, like it's just inner work and changing certain perspectives to allow yourself to understand that you didn't come here to struggle. You didn't come here like to make a sacrifice of yourself. No, that's not true. That's one of the wounded programming, So it's all about unwrapping that and understanding where the work is needed. But also there will be like ceremonies where I will guide them through like beautiful guided journeys. I will show them a technique which is called the cosmic egg. It's a technique about optimizing your aura so that you become more receptive to high frequencies. It will accelerate your healing. You can connect easier with your higher self, with your guides, with your support team, these kind of things. And yes, there will be like a guided journey that a lot of starseeds resonate with, because for a lot of us, and I've been to that space, but that's why I included it here. For a lot of us, we come to a point where we're like, I hate humanity. Like, I cannot stand people anymore. Like, why are they so stupid? I was at that place. And when you're in that place, fucking hell, you cannot help anyone. Like, you can forget about helping, because you are in the vibe of like shutting down everything. So, and that's a thing for a lot of us, because we see the destruction, because we see how humanity is like literally going in circles and like not doing nothing to change. And we see that, and it's annoying, in a sense. But it's just a shift of perspective again, like it's an inner shift that needs to be made for us, because despite the fact that we can see that, we can see higher too. Like, we can see their potential. We can see what they're capable of. We can see the light within every single human that exists here. And that requires to look past the surface, like it requires to look deeper and to have deeper trust. And so that's kind of the second journey. It's about that, to help starseeds come out of that yucky space where you don't want to help anyone anymore. Like, to to hell with humanity, I just want to go home. Yeah, that's one of them. So yeah, that will be end of July. And I guess you will be sharing the link to that one.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if somebody resonates with that and would like to explore a bit more and understand why they are experiencing life as they do, then this event is for you. So yeah, that's my invitation. That's how you can connect with me, like with my work. That's kind of a taste of my work in a sense, this event. Okay. So, and of course, I do have some bigger community too, but I don't want to talk about it today because it's too much,
That's fine. And guess what? We'll have you back to talk more about some of this stuff, and we'll have others too that join us. We've interviewed other starseeds, so I think it'd be fun to get a bunch of starseeds together and having a nice little chit chat.
Awesome. Sounds awesome. Yeah, I would be happy to come back.
Great.
I have so many things to talk about. If you ask me questions, to be honest, guys, I will always talk.
Cool.
Well,
you're a great talker. So.
Didn't mention that.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, thank you.
It was very interesting. Thank you so much, Maria. But please stay with us for 2 more minutes, okay?
Yeah, of course. No problem. I'm not hopping off.